I have come to three conclusions. Number one, they should never, ever, ever play NFL football on Black Friday again. Number two, I'm going to hear a lot from the Midwest coalition of bear idiocy because the Bears actually won. And three, the reason they won is because of a catch from DJ Moore. Doggone it. Let's go.
On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised that the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah. I'm back, and I'm feeling better about this. Good morning. Welcome to the Taco Tuesday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us, and I apologize for yesterday, but I was flirting with 100-degree fever yesterday. 103-degree fever to be exact. And I was just flat tired. Hold on a minute. The fight with technology continues. I swear to God, it continues. Let's go. This is a whip around presented by Fanatics. I can't even believe I'm going to do this one. Point differential could come into play as NBA in-season tournament group phase ends Tuesday. Who the hell cares? Thunder's Josh Giddey is still playing as NBA probes alleged relationship with a minor. Well, I hope they probe it and I hope they find him innocent. But if he's guilty, I'll weigh on it that way. I'll wait for the results to play out, then I'll weigh on it. More on that later. Russell Westbrook and a fan engaged in a verbal exchange late in Clippers' loss to Nuggets. Well, if y'all didn't suck so much, then the fans wouldn't be engaging with you in a negative manner, Mr. Westbrook. Y'all suck. Get it through your heads. Stephen Curry tossed in 7 3-pointers and 35 points as the Warriors hold off the Spurs 118-112. I had a chance to watch that game, and boy, Chef Curry in his 14th season is cooking. Dolphins will sign veteran defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul. The South Florida native who signed with the New Orleans Saints on November 15th is on the team's practice squad. Said in a post to Instagram account Monday night that he is coming home. I'd like to thank the New Orleans Saints and the organization for giving me the opportunity to play for them, he wrote. I can't even lie. It was a hard decision to make, but to all the guys in the locker room, I appreciate y'all accepting me as a teammate, and to all the coaches, appreciate you guys for believing in me. Close quote. Shut up. Just plain. Until you produce something, this is what I'll always say. Until you produce something like you did in your Giants days, Jason Pierre-Paul, shut up. And finally, Myles Garrett, the leading candidate by miles for Defensive Player of the Year, avoided serious injury to his left shoulder. That is great. Stefanski said tests Monday revealed that Garrett suffered no structural damage to the shoulder and that he could play this Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams. He suffered the injury in Sunday's 29-12 loss to the Denver Broncos. Ugh. He felt something pop in his shoulder during the game. He left the locker room with his arm in a sling. I'm just glad he avoided structural damage. Contrary to popular belief and what I've said before, I love Myles Garrett and the way he plays. It finally seems that he got it together, unlike Joel Embiid for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, I said it. I said it and I meant it. Joel Embiid will never have it together unless he fixes this up here. Period. That's a whip around presented by Fanatics. Let's go to the Fanatics feedback zone as Danny Fuller is the first one in, saying Snowman in the morning. Thomas Fitzpatrick in as well. Sig Diggy joins us from Norway. What in the Anthony Davis was that mess on Monday night? I don't know, but I gotta break it down. Danny, he says, get Jody. She can fix your technology. Well, she kind of did via text message, Danny. I'll explain in a minute. Mr. Blue Collar in the house with us saying, good morning, Snowman. Good morning to you. The Whip Around is brought to you by Daddy Joe's Rawhide Belts, the belts for chapping that hide. That's chapping that hide raw. I read it wrong. That's Daddy Joe's Rawhide Belts. Salute to Gary, Indiana. And by Bumleg Orthopedic, the only thing keeping Aaron Rodgers' comeback alive. Oh, my leg, oh, my leg, oh, my leg. I wish it was keeping his comeback alive, but the comeback is dead. Dead. D-E-A-D, dead. And Aaron Rodgers, you need to go ahead and retire and spare us a lot of the idiocy that you spew anyway. You need to spare us your well, I'm gonna catch hell from a lot of Jets fans, but I'll go ahead and say you need to spare us from your subpar play. Period. Because you ain't got it anymore. I said it and I meant it. Coming up next, I will break down what the hell happened in Minnesota last night. Try to explain to myself and to everybody what the hell happened in Minnesota. And after that, we'll go into a little bit of a preview of the game of the week next week. And I might have to get some help today. Back after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning, presented by BetUS.com and Invader Coffee. Back to the Fanatics feedback zone, and Victor Locke is with us. He'll join us momentarily. He says, hey, my brother's back in the saddle. Yes, I am. The fever broke. Dr. K is a big reason for that, as y'all know. And it was another Bears game. Who cares? Thank you, Victor. Now, Victor, I sent you something. Get in here. Danny Fuller says facts at VLock83. Sick Diggy greets him as well. I have a question. And the question goes like this. You know what? I got something better. Yeah, the deacon himself, the deacon of defense says, I'm hurt, and he's got the laughing emoji. Man, you know what that was last night. You know what that was last night. DOD is a big-time Vikings fan, very, very, very dear brother to me. We give each other mess all the time. But I'll say it again. Man, you know what that was last night. Hey, Snowman, how about those Michigan Wolverines? Until they win a national championship, shut up. And if they look, I'm not doubting that Michigan will make the Final Four, okay? But whomever they play in the Final Four, they're going to get their ass kicked again. So until they win a national championship, kiss my ass. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. After what happened Saturday, I'm convinced now that Michigan will make the Final Four. They just need to take care of Iowa in the Big Ten championship, and that'll be that. Now, my question is this, referring to I'll go ahead and say it. Referring to the Tank Bowl that happened at US Bank Stadium yesterday.
What in the all types of blue hell
was that? What the hell was that? Bears 12, Vikings 10. You want to tell me that was actually a game last night? You want to tell me that was actually a game last night? Justin Fields, 27 of 37, 217 yards. He was sacked 3 times, didn't throw a touchdown nor an interception because he couldn't complete one longer than 6 yards. He couldn't complete one longer than 6 yards. That is the legacy, if you want to call it that, of Justin Fields. And to help me break this down, let's go to Chicago, and I bring in I asked Victor this on my drive back from picking up my daughter this morning, but I used a different word. What the hell was that?
Boy, you got me. This is why I have such a tough time watching Bears games, because they're so uneventful. They're just uneventful. They're not fun.
No. Even some games in 2006 were uneventful, and they were a Super Bowl participant. Don't ask me how.
I mean, my gracious.
Joshua Dobbs, 22 of 32, 185 yards. He, too, couldn't complete a pass for longer than 6 yards. He threw a touchdown, but had 4 interceptions.
Well,
he was sacked twice. Listen to the QBRs for this.
Okay.
Justin Fields, 41.9. Joshua Dobbs, 19.3. The rating, 87.3 for Justin Fields, 54.3 for Joshua Dobbs. Here's what scares me.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about this so many times before. The leading rusher for the Bears, take a guess.
Justin Fields, 12 carries for 59 yards.
What is wrong with this picture?
He doesn't have a line. We've been saying that for almost 2-3 years now. He does not have an offensive line to save his life. He has to run for his life all the time. And who's the running back for the Bears? Anybody know?
No. I sure as hell don't. Because they let their best running back in years walk.
To Detroit.
How many times have we said that?
They let their best running back in years, their certified 1,000-yard rusher, go up north.
And he's on his way to 1,000 yards this year. He's on his way to 1,000 yards this year. Sick Diggy from Norway says the Bears' offensive line clearly can't stand Justin Fields. They weren't happy to have him back. They weren't protecting him much, were they? No. They were protecting Tyson Badgett more than Justin Fields.
Well, here's the thing. The Bears' offensive line can't stop a cold, stiff wind. They can't block sunlight. They can't block anything.
Mm-hmm.
This has been their problem for years. And I'm so tired of the Midwest Committee of Bear Idiocy not seeing that. They're saying, oh, well, Justin Fields, he's so gutsy. He wants to run the football. No,
hell
he doesn't
no.
want to run the football. He has no choice but to run the football.
Say that again, please.
He doesn't want to run the football. He has no choice but to run the football.
None whatsoever.
And the only reason why the other guy, again, name escapes me because not important.
Mm-hmm.
Was why the other quarterback was able to be protected a little bit better because he at least makes more quick judgment with the football.
And the line actually blocks for him.
I don't even think it's even that. I just think he just makes quicker decision with the football, so it looks like the offensive line is blocking more for him. Because that line is porous. It's been porous since 2021. It's ridiculous.
It's awful. It's just plain awful. That's how bad that's how bad that line is. It's porous. It's a sieve. It's ugh.
This line has destroyed.
Awful.
This line has destroyed any confidence Justin may have had. It has destroyed it. It has ruined it. And this is not me just trying to find excuses for Justin Fields because he has to make better snap decisions with the football.
And on the Minnesota side of the football, what the hell was that?
Just the same verse, second verse, same with the first.
You lose Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins for the year. For the year.
Yep.
You go out and sign Joshua Dobbs, and stupidly the St. Louis Cardinals let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I said it that way. The Cardinals stupidly let him go. They're stupidly trusting Kyler Murray. Dear God.
Call of Duty Murray. Yep.
Dear God in heaven.
I think Arizona said we're just going to tank. Screw it.
Yeah, it's been their life since they got there. Except for the year they went to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner as their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They've done nothing but tank.
Yeah, he's like, just tell them to get off the game, and we'll work from there. That's where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at now.
That's exactly where we're at.
Take the Xbox away, and we'll just go with Kyler Murray. It's pathetic. The NFC North Save the Lions has been pathetic. And it's for the exact same reason.
Please repeat that.
The NFC North Save the Lions, even though that's a very small save, because what in the world was that on Thanksgiving?
Dear God. Dear God.
The NFC North has been pathetic, and it's for the exact same reason. No one wants to run the ball.
No one.
The Bears can't run the ball.
And unfortunately, on Thanksgiving, the Packers took that away from the Lions.
Yep. The Packers don't know how to run the ball because they want to put all their eggs in the Jordan Love basket.
Once again, dear God in heaven.
The Vikings put all their baskets into the Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins, their eggs into the Kirk Chainz Cousins basket, and look what happened there.
And they don't have a running back because they let Dalvin Cook go.
Exactly.
Stupid.
Exactly.
Stupid.
So now what you have is basically you have kind of like the AFC East back in like the the mid 2000s,
where
everyone was more about passing and was more about running from the shotgun and long passes, and having a slightly mobile quarterback.
You know how many 300-yard games Justin Fields has to this point in his career?
How many?
One.
And
it occurred this year against the Denver Broncos.
And how pathetic is that? How pathetic is that?
One.
They lost too.
They did lose.
They lost that game.
They were up 28-7.
Yep.
In that game. 28-7. And they blew it.
You know where the coin of the Midwest Committee of Bear ADC came from?
Where's that?
I was out and about, and all of a sudden I'm having a conversation with a couple of people, and the Bears came up.
Oh no! Oh no!
And someone said the following, and I looked at them
as I'm getting my breakfast. Go on, Victor.
And someone said something. I looked at them as if they had grown 5 heads. And I'm going to wait till you finish because I don't want you choking. Because what I heard was the most idiotic thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
All right. We'll do this the right way. So Victor was having a conversation, and what he heard was, quote,
Justin Fields is going to turn out to be the next Michael Vick.
Close quote. What?
Yes. Someone believed that because of how mobile Justin Fields is, he has the capacity and the potential to become the next Michael Vick. Not to mention Michael Vick had a cannon for an arm. Not to mention Michael Vick was very, very good looking down defenses, being able to look off defenders. Had pretty much just that type of same.
Not to mention Michael Vick can actually read a defense.
Exactly. He was getting there to where he could dissect defenses.
Not to mention Michael Vick was actually fast. Not to mention Michael Vick actually, got his teammates involved. Both in Atlanta and Philadelphia.
Not to mention that the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles had offensive lines in front of him so that he could make those decisions.
Exactly.
Because the thing is that when you're under pressure, the first decision you make is probably going to be the wrong one. Because you don't have time to actually survey everything.
I kind of believe what Sick Diggy is saying. If you compare what Tyson Bagent has done and what Justin Fields is trying to do, this offense is Tyson Bagent's to command, not Justin Fields.
Well, here's the problem I have with that, and I respect Sick Diggy to the same degree, but the reason why I disagree with that is because I don't see this Bear offense having any type of competency to actually block anybody. The only difference is that Babbage knows how to actually make snap decisions with the football.
Okay.
If you have someone who's a great quarterback who can make quick decisions, any offensive line can look good.
True.
He's got to hold on for a couple seconds. Justin Fields doesn't have that.
True.
Justin Fields is too afraid because he knows that pocket's going to collapse.
And how many times had it collapse? He got sacked 3 times. He got sacked 3 times, fumbled twice, and now and just because he had one good drive last night, which led to the game winner,
right? Guess
what they're doing? The Midwest Committee of Bear Idiocy. Guess what they're doing? Because he had one damn good drive last night.
They're calling
which
him,
led to the winning points.
They call him elite.
Mm-hmm.
They call him elite. I guarantee you.
And he's nowhere near elite.
Not even close.
I'll say it again. He's nowhere near elite. Justin Fields has not been anywhere near good since he's been in the league, period.
He's been slightly above average at best.
And that's the best thing you can say about Justin Fields.
He's been above average at best.
That's the best thing you can say about Justin Fields.
But whose fault is that?
It's the organization's fault for not putting an offensive line in front of him.
Not putting an offensive line.
Let's go to Fresno, California. Latina in Cali says, hello, everyone. I'll be listening, but not able to chat. Good morning, my dear, to you.
Hola,
and
Latina.
Blessings to you. But the Bears organization as a whole has failed quarterbacks since 1989. Period.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll go 3 years beyond that, 1992. And guess who their quarterback was? Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And guess who the public wants to target as their next coach?
Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. And I have a simple question. Why?
I have no idea.
Why do you want to target a successful college coach, even though he did have success in San Francisco, when your organization is basically in shambles?
Your organization is trash.
The upper management of the Bears organization is complete and utter trash.
Until someone gets Virginia McCaskey out of the tea room and say, look, ma'am, you have a football team that is dying for a championship. You have a city that you owe it to provide a championship team. Until that happens, nothing's changing.
And nothing will ever change. I mean, the Niners had to learn that lesson with Jed York.
Yeah.
Jed York was both the president and the manager of football operations. Jed York kicked himself out of football operations, and now look where they are.
And
he was president and GM. I beg your pardon. Now you bring in John Lynch as your GM, who brings in Kyle Shanahan. The rest is history.
And the same thing won't change in Dallas either until they
it won't change
until they come to the exact same understanding.
But this is Virginia McCaskey we're talking about.
Exactly. She
ain't giving that up.
She doesn't care. She does not care.
No, she doesn't care. It's like Carolina. It's like Dallas. Carolina, Dallas, and Chicago share 2 common denominators. An owner that doesn't know a doggone thing and an owner that doesn't want to put football people in football executive positions.
Or I put it this way, they have owners that don't know about football and don't care to know about football.
And I'll go down to Carolina because we may get a visit from Jay Spivey later on.
Okay.
David Tepper only has money. Jerry Richardson had football knowledge. Jed York had some football knowledge. Don't get it twisted. He did. But now all he has to do is just lean back and sign the checks.
Yep.
John Lynch, you're my GM. Get it done. Kyle Shanahan, you're my coach. Get it done. I'm out of the way.
Exactly. And that's what needs to happen.
And as soon as the Bears realize that Virginia McCaskey needs to get the ever-loving hell out of the way, nothing will change, and there will never in life be a repeat of 1985. Ever.
And that's not happening because no one's going to tell sweet little Virginia that she needs to get out of the way. They're going to let her have her tea because it's like her favorite little show pony, her favorite little toy that she can go parade around at tea parties. That's what it is. And until that happens, guess who suffers? Chicago Bears fans.
Mm-hmm. And the team because there's no confidence.
Yep. And unfortunately, to the point where the Bears fans kind of deserve this because they are now blindly following the leader.
Mm-hmm. Wherever they may go.
Yep.
And they're in the toilet right now. And they're planning to move
to where? To where?
Apparently Arlington Heights.
Who cares? They'll still be known as Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm. But I think that pipe dream is dead.
Especially now.
That pipe dream is dead. Whoever designed the current Soldier Field to keep the columns was plain stupid. I mean, you got the technology. I changed my mind. They don't have the technology there. We were there on September 2nd.
Exactly.
Couldn't see the scoreboard for nothing from our vantage point.
Couldn't get the door open for 2.5 hours.
Couldn't get the door open. My wife nearly passed out. And then the people that were looking at me and my wife as I tended to her before we went upstairs.
It's just foolish, man.
Soldier Field is about as raggedy as Wrigley Field.
Well, again,
and the Bears are just as I'm looking in this camera and I want y'all to listen to me carefully. The Bears as an organization are just as foolish as the Dallas Cowboys and just as foolish as the Carolina Panthers. And if you want to throw an NBA angle, just as foolish as the Los Angeles Lakers.
I will say the Bears are as foolish as the Cowboys. I won't say they're as foolish as the Panthers, only because I think the Panthers know they're trash. They just no longer care anymore. I think the Panthers know that they are garbage. They just don't care. They are done caring for this year. They got the number one pick.
And they're talking about getting rid of Frank Reich.
They got the number one pick, got one of the most sought after quarterbacks, and have done what with him?
Not a damn thing.
Meanwhile, Houston got the second one.
And look where they are.
Exactly.
And look where they are.
The Bears and the Cowboys think that they can contend. The Panthers know they cannot.
Sad state of affairs in some organizations. Let's take a break. When you all get back, the 49ers have extended their lead over the Seahawks to essentially 3 games. Well, you can't say that. Yes, I can. Tell you why when we get back.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color of crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
I can't believe what I just read. Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning. We are fueled by Invader Coffee, and Frank Reich is gone.
Yeah. And before we go further, I wanna say something else to the Midwest Committee of Barrier scene.
Go for it.
Do you know how many touchdown passes Justin Fields threw last night?
Z and Rowe.
Exactly. And this is your elite quarterback. 27-37, 217 yards, no touchdowns. Now, granted, no picks, but no touchdowns.
Like I said, Z and Rowe.
That's an irrelevant quarterback. That's an irrelevant quarterback. Yeah, he'll give you some yardage, but is he putting points on the board? Because that is something that's going to be needed. It's ridiculous, man. I'm sorry.
No, don't be. David Tepper fired Coach Frank Reich on Monday, less than 24 hours after the owner left the locker room muttering a cuss word after following Sunday's 17-10 loss to the Titans in Nashville. Reich said, quote, "There's a heart-pounding disappointment in not hitting the marks that we needed to hit to keep this going, to try and turn it around. It hurts me for the guys, the team, the coaches, and the fans." Well, if you had an offensive, Frank Reich came into this at a deficit anyway.
Exactly.
Frank Reich came into this as a deficit anyway, and he's being labeled the scapegoat. I'll talk about that later.
The owner can't sit there and say, well, we're all disappointed. You knew this from the beginning, what you were going in without.
Mm-hmm.
And you did nothing. And now it's come down to you're going to have to possibly the worst season of the entire history of the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
You're 1-10 now?
1-10.
You're 1-10. You have one win. You are a hair's breadth away from.
That was miraculous.
Yeah, you are a hair's breadth away from becoming the next 0-16 Lions.
A 51-yard field goal away from becoming the next 0-16 team and the first 0-17 team. Well, the NFC West race now belongs to the San Francisco 49ers, thanks to the 31-13 beatdown of the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Seahawks dropped to 1-3 in the division. The Rams are 4-1 in the division. Guess who that one loss was to?
San Fran.
We see the Rams at the end of the season, but if the Rams lose one more game within the division,
they're done.
The division belongs to San Francisco. Oh, and by the way, the Niners have won 11 in a row against NFC West teams dating back to 2021. And a shout to Tom at Zebo TV. They're checking us out this morning. I owe you a commercial. I will get it to you this afternoon. And the Rams are playing the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, God.
Mm.
They get the no, I take that back. They get the Browns next, and then they go to Baltimore. Then they go to Washington and play the Redskins, then the Saints, then the Giants, and then they come see us at Levi's. So we are their last NFC West game. But it ain't going to matter because they're going to lose to all the teams in front of them, including Washington. Back to business. Entering week 13, the 49ers stand 8-3 and 3-0 in the division. Damn.
Well, that's when we get the first leg out of the way, is win your division.
And they're going to win that division within the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
However, this Sunday presents a mega challenge for San Francisco as they go to Philadelphia to play the Eagles, who are 10-1 and the first team to clinch a playoff berth. Damn.
They're probably going to be the conference champs again.
I would be mad if were it not for the fact that I also love the Eagles, which I do.
They're probably going to be the number 1 seed for the conference again.
Yeah, because the Niners trail that by 2 games. And the Niners now have a 2-game lead in the division, and they have ensured they will not lose either a head-to-head or division record tiebreaker to the Seahawks because they're 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Seahawks in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Now I have a question.
Okay.
And it goes like this. Will people ever stop giving ish to Brock Purdy?
Nope.
No? Why?
Nope. Because they're going to look at this and say, well, this was an easy season. They're going to look at this season and they're going to say this is an easy season. You had the Seahawks, which are trash. You had the Cowboys, which are not that great. You had the Cardinals. The only team they're going to only look at one team as like actual competition for the Niners, and that's Philly.
And we see them Sunday.
They're not going to give the Browns any type of credit, and the Browns won.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
They'll also look at the fact that you guys had a 3-game skid.
Mm-hmm. And that's what everybody is looking at, except Philadelphia, because Philadelphia's been through that ish before.
Exactly. They're going to look at Brock Purdy from the same viewpoint that they look at Dak. And it's like, well, what competition has he faced? What real contenders has he faced?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how they're looking at it right now. And it's sad because the man has stepped up to pressure. He had adversity and he came back smelling like a rose. Came back off of concussion protocol and had a perfect game. What more do you need?
This Sunday will test everything, and I know it will test. I know it will test everything because I call this coming Sunday's game in Philadelphia a prelude to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, and it very well could be.
It'll be a prelude to the NFC Championship, no matter who wins that game.
Because let's look at the champions right quick. Let's look at the leaders of the division.
Mm-hmm.
NFC South's going nowhere. Whoever wins that division is going absolutely nowhere. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions, they've gotten better, but I think there's a few pieces they're going to need before they can actually start contending for championships.
Mm-hmm.
They've gotten better. You got the Niners in the West. You got the Eagles in the East. Those are guys that are going to be champions of their particular divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever gets the wild card spot, which will probably be the Cowboys.
I don't think the Cowboys will get there.
I think they'll get there, but by a very slim margin.
I think they're about to tank. I said what I said.
I don't think so. It's because there's a lot of garbage teams in the NFC. Like, who do you think they're going to lose to?
Everybody.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. They've already swept the Giants. They got one game over the Redskins. Only team in their own division they haven't beaten is the Eagles.
These next 4 games will determine the Cowboys' season.
I agree.
See,
that absolutely agree.
Come to Dallas.
We're
Thursday night.
We're beating them. We should beat them.
More on that later. Then the Eagles come to Dallas on December 10th.
We'll probably lose that game.
Then you go to Buffalo.
We should win that game.
And then you go to Miami.
Ooh, that's gonna be nasty.
And that's Christmas Eve.
That's gonna be nasty.
And the 5th game in that stretch is Detroit.
Yeah, we'll probably lose that game too, because Detroit has become a nightmare for most teams.
And Detroit is pissed off after Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, for the 49ers, we see the Eagles on Sunday.
Right.
And I'm calling that game. Then we beat the hell out of the Seahawks and clinch the division.
Finish them off.
Beat the hell out of the Cardinals.
Finish that off.
And then Christmas night, the dangerous Baltimore Ravens come see us in Levi's.
Ooh, that's gonna be nasty.
I might have to tell somebody. I might have to tell somebody, somebody have to take my daughter to work because I want to do that game badly. But I can't. I can't. For the reason it's an 8:15 kickoff, and I have to leave at 10:30.
Right.
And I hate doing an incomplete game. I've had too many of them this past year already. Well, back to business. The Niners control the NFC West, period.
Yeah.
The Niners have controlled the NFC West, period. The Niners will not lose another game in the NFC West this year, period, which will give them 14 in a row within the division. Their toughest competition comes outside the division, and it starts Sunday with Philadelphia, and then, as I said, Christmas night with Baltimore.
Yeah. And CSTV agrees with you, man. He believes that the 49ers' next Hall of Fame QB
is Brock Purdy. Matter of fact, let me do this Snowman style. Get off of Brock Purdy, will you please? What more can the guy do besides win a championship? And I'm going to say something that a lot of people won't like. He is close to winning one, maybe multiple. I mean, the guy came off of a concussion, played against Cincinnati. He took accountability for those 3 losses. Very few quarterbacks in the league take accountability for losses. Zach Wilson, hello. Russell Wilson, hello. And while I'm going there, Josh Allen, hello.
Might as well throw Justin in there too.
I got a whole thing for Justin coming up. But I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to say it until I'm proven differently. Brock Purdy is the 49ers franchise quarterback, period. And here's what a lot of people don't realize and never will realize. Against Tampa Bay, he did something that hadn't been done in the 49ers organization since 1989. And that's throw a perfect game. You know those quarterbacks who did it for the Niners in 89? I don't know. Some guy named Steve Young in week 10 and some guy named Joe Montana in week 7. 2 of them. 2 perfect games in the same season. And Brock Purdy becomes the first to do it since 1989. I'd say the 49ers have more than made up for the debacle of Trey Lance. The debacle of Alex Smith. And I call that a debacle because of his injuries. Doggone. The debacle of Colin Kaepernick. Dear God, don't get me started. Brock Purdy is a quarterback. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. Brock Purdy is becoming an elite quarterback. And just like Tom said, Brock Purdy could be the next 49ers Hall of Fame quarterback, joining Montana, joining Young. How do you like them apples? And oh, by the way, the 49ers have something to lean on if Brock Purdy struggles. It's called a running game. Mr. McCaffrey, hello to you.
Yeah. When you have someone like CMC.
Know who the 49ers had to lean on back in 1989? His name's Roger Craig. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
And oh, by the way, Roger Craig led the league in rushing for 2 years. Just like Christian McCaffrey is doing this year, 61 yards away from 1,000 yards. And it'll be McCaffrey's first 1,000-yard season in 4 years. And oh, by the way, 4 years ago, McCaffrey had a 1,000 season. I don't think he'll make it this year, but he'll have a 1,000-yard rushing season.
No, I think him getting hurt kind of did away with that.
Here's the difference between Brock Purdy and, say, old Dak Prescott. Brock Purdy makes good decisions in the pocket. Brock Purdy has something in front of him called an offensive line.
There we go. I say Brock Purdy has enough time to make good decisions in the pocket.
Matter of fact, to prove my point, as I do a little live research here, there was a play against Jacksonville where Purdy hung in the pocket for as long as he could. Okay? As long as he hung in the pocket for as long as he could. And it looked like his arm got hit, but it didn't get hit. And he delivered a dime to the animal, George Kittle. And what did that turn into? A 66-yard touchdown. 66-yard touchdown, man.
A touchdown.
Oh, so he can't throw, right? Oh, so he can't put the ball where it needs to be, right? And he's still Mr. Irrelevant. He's still Mr. Irrelevant to you guys, right? Shut up. I want all the Brock Purdy haters right now to shut up. But I will also say this. His most crucial test comes this weekend. I'm not a fool. All right? I've seen Joe Montana take hit after hit in a game against Philadelphia in 1989. You know what he did in that game? 331 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, those 4 touchdowns came in the 4th quarter. Those 4 touchdowns came in the 4th quarter. You understand that? But it's the pocket presence of Purdy that impresses me. It's the pocket presence. It's the decision-making of Purdy, which has gotten better. Here's the bad part. He wants to get better. That should frighten everybody. Like Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get better. He wants to be the best, and he's working at it. But y'all don't want to see that, do you?
No.
Well, I got something for you to see. Here's the play I was talking about in Jacksonville.
Second down and short here. Purdy has one-on-one. George Kittle, goodbye! Heave-ho and a touchdown!
And that was on a stride, too. That was in stride.
Did that not look like he underthrew it? Yes, the pocket began to... Take a look again.
Brown. Second down and short here. Purdy has one-on-one. George Kittle, goodbye! Heave-ho and a touchdown!
Damn. I want y'all to take a look at another play. To illustrate the greatness of Brock Purdy. And I said it. I don't care if he's only played a year and change. Thank you, Jim Durham. Take a look at this play.
Ayuk and use check left, going deep down the sideline for Ayuk. He's got it, and he's gone. 20, 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
Here's the biggest difference between Brock Purdy and many other quarterbacks in the league, save Jalen Hurts. And I want you to listen to this sentence very carefully. Brock Purdy makes the big plays. And for those of you who don't like it, I'll say it again. Brock Purdy makes the big plays. And you know what's scary? Now he is learning to deal with adversity. Had a 3-game losing streak. Now they've won 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm. Got hurt. Had to be taken to concussion protocol.
And came back to play that Sunday against Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Now things are rounding into form. The Niners have essentially a 2-game lead in the West over the Rams and the Seahawks. And this division race, dare I say, is over. And one of the biggest reasons, where's number 13 for the San Francisco 49ers? So stop with the hatred, will you? That's Snowman's take. What's yours? A break, and then when y'all get back, I'm going to say something very weird. A team that's rounding into shape. How about the Indianapolis Colts?
Mm.
Yeah. How about those Indianapolis Colts? 6-5. And dare I say, they're in the playoff hunt. And this stretch run is going to be important. Second hour of Snowman in the Morning continues after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. You kids from the block. New edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
And ever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you talk and they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
He was only 58 years old when he passed away. That outcome could have been different.
Colorado happens to be one of the worst states for radon levels.
It's in our ground, and it seeps up.
The more you breathe radon, the more chance you have of DNA being hit and the cell mutated. The EPA estimates 22,000 lung cancer deaths a year caused by radon.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Let me pick on a couple of people before we go to the second hour. I did it earlier, but I want to pay them some tribute as well. The deacon himself, the deacon of defense, says, I'm hurt when I was talking about that Bears Vikings game. And my response is, you know what that was.
Yes.
Big discussion, 76 Sports. He says, how about those Michigan Wolverines? And I said earlier, Until they win a national championship, shut up. And besides, Jim Harbaugh won't be there after this year anyway. I had to pick on him. It's the second hour of Snowman in the Morning. I am he. That's the Snowman. And joining me riding shotgun is
Yeah, it is my honor to do so.
Oh man, good to have you with us. Man, I can't believe I'm going to ask this question. As a matter of fact, to pick at myself.
You fool!
Uh-oh.
For doing so. Before I get into the Indianapolis Colts, why do people still think the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders? And here's why I'm asking this question. During the break, I got a message. I didn't peruse social media. It found me. And the question I got, here, let me do this right in honor of our executive producer, Cole Johnson. The question I got was, quote, why don't you ever consider the Cowboys a Super Bowl contender? Close quote.
They're not there yet.
I turn that question over to Vikala. Go.
They're not there yet. Yes, they are a decent team. They win most games that they're supposed to win. But they're not there yet. The O-line is not there yet. Pollard still needs some touches to actually get into battle-ready armor. And Dak has got to learn how to deal with adversity and pressure. Until those things happen, they are not going anywhere. They will get to the wild card. In my opinion, that's probably the best they're going to do. They may end up, they're not snatching the division. That's not happening. So
not as long as the Eagles exist.
Exactly. And the Eagles look like they're flying high anyway. So as far as Super Bowl contenders, they got a long way to go. And mind you, there are still teams out there that are still chomping at the bit. Niners being one, Eagles being the other. So let's pump the brakes on that before we start going into outlandish territory.
They don't leave outlandish territory. That is the take of
I will say, though, I was very impressed. Black Friday came around. Not a lot of chatter from the Ironic Republic. They stayed off social media, at least from my understanding. They stayed off social media.
That was your begging of them to do so.
Exactly.
Point Fire joins us from north of the border in Toronto. He says, love and respect from Toronto. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're internationally syndicated. Son of a gun. We are internationally syndicated. We got folks from Norway. You got folks from Toronto, Ontario. We're all over the place. Speaking of all over the place, a franchise that was, and I say this most important word, was all over the place, was the Indianapolis Colts. Then they hired Shane Steichen, and in just a few months, the Colts now rank among the NFL's top 10 in scoring and sacks. And now they have a run-first reputation, meaning they are not allergic to running the football. Thank you, Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And guess who could crash the AFC playoff party come January? The Indianapolis Colts.
Would you look at that? They run the ball, they start winning games. What a novel concept.
Jonathan Taylor on Sunday against Tampa Bay had 15 carries for 91 yards. They run the ball and they win games. Novel concept indeed. The Colts are starting to make plays. And for the AFC South, that should be scaring them.
Very scary.
As we take a look at the Colts' remaining schedule, they go to Tennessee. They should beat them. They go to Cincinnati. They should beat them. They host Pittsburgh. They should clown them. You know what? You know what, man?
Mm-hmm.
The Colts could very possibly run the table.
Uh-oh. Remember the last time you said that team could run the table?
They could run the table and get into the playoffs. The last time they did that was 2008. Yeah, 2018. When they ran the table at one, they were at 1-6. They ran the table, got to 10-6, and got into the playoffs. Now, didn't have it yesterday because I was ill. We got this today. Let's talk. Jay Spivey joins us from North Carolina. Good morning, Jay. Doing good, man. Missed you yesterday.
How you doing?
I was totally under the weather, but when you're flirting with 103-degree temperature and your body doesn't want to move, you don't move. I did. I literally came home yesterday morning from bringing my daughter home. I dropped in bed and didn't move until I had to take her to work. Okay. I don't know where to start because there's so much to do, but I'll start here. Why does David Tepper not have a clue about football? Mm-hmm. Nope. Yeah. Seven. That's crazy. Seven head coaches since he took over. 7. And to think he's the owner of the team. Mm-hmm. I gather that too. But see, why does he do that? Why do some owners do that? Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah, that's true. Which leads. He clearly didn't. I may have to get you on another line. So Jay, stand by with me, okay? Stand by. But wait, just a minute. Who in the chat? I want y'all to tell me. Can you hear Jay? If not, let me know. Because there's one person that said we can't hear him, and I'm trying to adjust the sound on the fly. Victor, you can hear him, okay? Can you not?
No, I can't.
You can't. Oh my gosh.
I cannot.
Oh boy. Some says no. Okay. I'll have to make an adjustment on the fly. But then again, when have I not made adjustments on the fly? I can't hear. Okay, no one can hear him. So this isn't working. Let me try one more thing. Let's take a break. Give me 2 minutes, and we'll try this again from the top. We'll be right back.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. You kids on the block. New edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Thanks everybody for letting me know the technical difficulties we're having with Jay Spivey. I'm working to get him back on as soon as possible. Victor Locke riding shotgun with me, and I'm gonna Jimmy rig something here, but I gotta have Jay back on.
Okay.
So we're gonna work on this while we get back to the Colts. And Danny Fuller's challenging me. He says, "Snowman, you're still not feeling good." I see. Absolutely not. The Colts will lose 2 of the next 4. No, they won't. No, they will not. They're gonna win their next 5. Matter of fact, I will. They go to Tennessee, to Cincinnati, host the Pittsburgh Steelers, go to the Falcons, host the Raiders, host the Texans. It'll come down to that last game for the Colts to clinch the playoffs. Matter of fact, they'll clinch the playoffs when they beat the hell out of the Raiders. Unlike 2 years ago. Now, Minshew may have problems giving the ball away in the red zone. Lord knows we've seen that. 9 touchdowns, 11 giveaways. 9 touchdowns, 11 giveaways. I am not going to be stupid to the fact and not point out that is a major, major problem. I'm not going to be stupid and not cognizant to that fact. But given how the Colts have played and given how they've learned how to run the football, I believe in my heart the Colts will run the table. and win their final 6 games and get to the playoffs. And a little bit of history, the last time they did that was 2018 when they won their last 9 to go from 1-6 to 10-6, and they clinched the playoff berth against Tennessee in Nashville. So that's what I'm calling right now. I believe the Colts will run the table. And if they lose any one of these games, which is very much a possibility, because the Colts have been kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde team all year.
Not to mention the Bengals are still around.
Yeah.
Even without Burrow, the Bengals are still around.
Yeah, the Bengals still exist. The Bengals still exist with Joe Burrow. Even without Joe Burrow, the Bengals still exist. All right? But I believe they will run the table. If I'm wrong, I will happily come on this program and say that I'm wrong. All right. I believe we have losing to 10. Man, they're going to beat the hell out of Tennessee. Tennessee is nothing. We beat them earlier this year in Indianapolis. I did the second half of that game because my wife was on the road.
They're going to have to do more. They're going to do more than just keep relying on King Henry.
And they ain't got a quarterback. Will Levis, please. I can't. Can you really rely on Will Levis? First of all, who the hell is Will Levis? Second of all, can you really rely on him? I think we got him now. All right. Thank you to everybody for pointing out this technical difficulty. We will try this again. We'll try again. Jay Spivey is with us. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Doing good, man. Okay, now we were into this subject before people pointed out the technical difficulty. And it's the subject of the Panthers, in particular David Tepper hiring his 7th head coach since he's been owner of the team. Why is David Tepper so inept?
Well, he like we were trying to say earlier, he meddles. There's nothing wrong with his owning the team, but you have people there around you who run the football operations for a reason. Stay out of the business and let them run it. Just because you're one of the richest people in the NFL doesn't mean you have to run every aspect of the team and be so overreaching.
Ain't that the
Let
truth?
your football team run the team.
Sound like someone else we know.
Run the team.
Kind of like another team we know in the Chicago Bears.
Well, and I'm not trying to say that Frank Reich was the answer, but you got to give him more than 11 games to see what he could do.
Agreed.
And it's not like they have talent there. I mean, there's no talent on this team.
And they're leaning on Bryce Young to get it done.
And we don't know whether he can play or not. I know he's struggled. That's very obvious.
Yes.
But we don't know if he can play or not because he has no talent around him.
None.
There's no tight ends. There's no running backs. There's no offensive line.
Right.
None. There's nothing around Bryce Young.
And they're not going to improve in the draft because they're draft picked away to the Bears.
Yep. And the Bears about to own the number 1 pick again because of Carolina.
But and then listen, you've heard me talk about DJ Moore a lot.
Yes.
I don't think he's the greatest receiver in the world, but he's a whole lot better than what they have now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. I'll toast to that. But Bryce Young has nowhere to go. He has no one to throw to. He has no one to hand off to.
He has no one to protect him.
They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible.
Absolutely.
Now, counting this past Sunday's game, they're in a stretch where they're on the road 3 straight games.
Yep. This is.
Now, is it an ego thing though? Is it an ego thing where he feels he needs to medal?
I hope there's some real fans out there. I'm sure there are. But this has got to be frustrating for the actual fan base.
Victor wonders if this is an ego thing.
Oh, it's definitely an ego thing. No question about it. There's no doubt about it with Pepper. It's an ego thing.
Speaking of egos, explain the Charlotte Hornets to me.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's another dumpster fire. How can the same city have two dumpster fires?
You probably have the same inept group that's owning both of them.
But they're both dumpster fires.
One's a regular dumpster fire and one's a forced dumpster fire.
It's so obvious. They're just like an also-ran team in the NBA. I mean, they're in the NBA, but nobody cares.
Exactly. No one has cared about the Hornets since 1993. All right, let's be totally real. No one has cared about the Hornets since that team of Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, and Muggsy Bogues knocked off the Boston Celtics in a playoff series.
That team now captivated the area around Charlotte. It captured the state.
Yep.
Really hard to believe in this day and age. It captured the hearts of a lot of NBA fans.
They did.
Yes.
They did. And now they have nothing left.
I'll never forget when I was a student at Appalachian, they came up there and trained during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the president came by. I mean, it was just like people just flocked to the gym where they were practicing.
The Hornets were a bunch of rock stars.
They really were.
The Hornets were a bunch of rock stars.
Mourning and Larry Johnson, it goes on and on and on.
And Alan Bristow, I believe, was the coach of that team.
Yeah. And Muggsy Bogues and Kendall Gill and all
Kendall
those guys.
Gill, Muggsy Bogues, Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
They're a bunch of rock stars.
This is the heart of the grandmama era.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I used to call them the kings of the Queen City because of just how dominant those guys were.
I know people love LaMelo Ball, but they need to trade him.
They do. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. They should have never drafted him in the first place.
I mean, he's a good player, but they need to trade him because they have no other talent around him.
None.
I've told you guys a million times, and I keep hearing people around here poo-poo it all the time. Charlotte is not a free agent destination.
It's not.
And
because
never will be.
Because they just
can't do it through the draft because they always seem to draft right in the middle of the draft every year, and there's not enough good players in the draft to draft that way.
They just don't see it as a great destination for free agents. Usually it's going to be either LA or it's going to be New York.
They've done it. They were so bad for so long, they had all those high picks.
Now, couldn't he have done something to couldn't
But the
something be better?
13th to 18th or whatever they've been drafted every year.
Could they have done something to make them better?
With the high draft picks.
With the high draft picks.
You talking about the Hornets that's currently constituted?
I mean, having number one, number two picks, shouldn't it have helped them get better talent?
They drafted Lonzo Ball. Does that tell you anything? They drafted Lonzo Ball. Does that tell you anything? And there's a certain Hornets apologist whom we will not name that doesn't even look at the mistakes they made. He doesn't even look at the mistakes they made. And the biggest mistake, I will say it again, and I said it the night they drafted him. The biggest mistake that the Hornets made was drafting Lonzo Ball. Period.
Well, to me, as a fan, quote unquote fan, you need to see the good things and the faults of a team.
Yep.
Yes.
If you're a fan and don't see the faults of a team, you're not a true fan.
Agreed.
You're an apologist.
It's why I get so much hate from the Moronic Republic for that particular reason alone.
And a certain apologist that tried to make my show a Carolina-based show, and I'm a national show.
Well, I guarantee you don't say we, us, and our on every reference to your favorite teams.
No, I tell the truth about my teams. Just like earlier when we were talking about the 49ers, I said this is the biggest test they got coming Sunday against Philadelphia. What have I always said? To be the champs, you must unseat the champs.
Exactly.
I'm not blind, stupid, deaf, or dumb when it comes to my teams. I see the faults and I call them out. Period.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But no, people come up to me, you don't talk bad about your teams. Apparently you haven't listened to me, nor my show, nor my guests on it. Fools. And speaking of fools, the Atlantic Coast Conference sucks.
In 2 sports.
Football and basketball. Football and men's basketball. They suck.
Well, just out of curiosity, I checked on StubHub to see the difference in ticket prices between Atlanta for the SEC championship this week and the ACC in Charlotte.
Okay.
That was Sunday night, I believe. The cheapest ticket for the SEC championship was $350
Not surprised.
for Alabama and Georgia.
Yep.
The cheapest ticket for Charlotte between Louisville, which just lost to Kentucky.
Yeah. Figure that one
First
out.
State as the quarterback,
Yep.
and it's not going to bring anybody, was $50.
Wow.
Which means A, the upper bowl is going to be empty.
Totally.
At Bank of America Stadium. And B, if they draw 30,000, I'll be surprised. Meanwhile, Mercedes.
David.
Meanwhile, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to be SRO. And for those of you scoring at home, that is standing room only.
You will not be able to get anywhere near that facility on Saturday afternoon.
I had someone ask me, will I ever cover the SEC championship live? Yes, I'm doing it next year. And yes, I will go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium strapped with a press pass.
There you go.
That's one of them. Look, I've always said that. If I go to a college game or a professional game, I'm not sitting in the stands. I'm going in strapped with a press pass.
You might as well.
And
if you have the ability to do so, do it.
And people think I'm nuts for saying that. I've covered the Chicago Football Classic this year, strapped with a press pass. My wife was strapped with a press pass. Victor Locke was strapped with a press pass.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I've conquered Soldier Field, Lucas Oil Stadium, Northwestern's Ryan Field. Look, any college or pro stadium I've been to, I conquered. I was strapped with a press pass. Forget all that. But the ACC in football has blown chunks.
Well,
for a while now.
Even if Florida State does win Saturday, I think there's a reasonable scenario that they're going to get left out of the playoff, even if they do finish undefeated.
I believe that because there'll be two SEC teams.
I believe that's a strong possibility.
There'll be two SEC teams in the playoff, and they play Saturday.
I mean, if Alabama wins Saturday, I think both of them are getting in.
Yep. Alabama has to win Saturday for them to get in the playoff and for them to get some confidence. If Georgia blows them out, forget it.
And then you got scenarios with, I think the winner of Oregon-Washington is definitely getting in.
I believe that.
And then you look at Texas, which beat Alabama this year.
Exactly. So you may have a possibility, should things fall in place, that you have Oregon and Texas in the Final Four.
And then all the more reason they had an opportunity to do this a long time ago. They could have fixed this, but oh no, they fought and clawed and everything else. There should have been an extended playoff this year anyway.
Yeah, there should have been an extended playoff in 2020. Let's get it real. Let's be honest.
Why wait till next year? You know, I've told you this a million times. I am a huge college football fan.
Yes, sir.
I sat on my couch all day Saturday and did nothing but watch college football. It was purely wonderful. And that Alabama-Auburn game was amazing.
Oh, the ending of that game. The Milroe miracle. as Eli Gold called it. That'll be our call of the day. I'll get that later.
And this is not even a good Auburn team.
No,
that always comes through.
Man, the Iron Bowl was something else on Saturday. Why couldn't any other rivalry game match that? But like you said, Jay and Victor, I want your opinion on this. Mm-hmm. Instead of Florida State getting in, to take that spot would be the winner of the Pac-10 championship between Oregon and Washington. And there are two reasons Oregon will get in. A, they avenge the loss to Washington, and B, they haven't lost since Washington.
True.
I don't think there's any question that the winner of that game Friday night is getting in.
The winner of that game on Friday night, which I am covering, gets into the Final Four. The winner of the Pac-12 game will kick Florida State out of the Final Four. Period.
If Alabama beats Georgia, which is a strong possibility,
then Alabama and Georgia gets in.
Yeah.
You cannot take Georgia from being number one to being out. That makes no sense to me.
It really, really doesn't.
And you know certain apologists as well as others are begging for Georgia to fail and be out of the playoff. But to be the champs, you got to unseat the champs
because they want Roll Tide all over again.
3 years.
To be the champs, you got to unseat the champs, and I don't think anybody's going to unseat the champs.
I don't see it either.
I'd be surprised the way they're playing.
I'm sorry. I mean, they lost Brock Bowers. You got Oscar Delp behind him, who is just as big and strong as Brock Bowers. Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers rested. I told him take the night. Listen, Kirby Smart told Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers to take the night off because we're going to need you against Alabama next Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. And what does that tell you about what he thought, how he respected Georgia Tech, which is in the ACC?
Mm-hmm. But
and to more your point about the league, in my opinion, the second most and maybe the most talented team, if you want to look deep into their roster, is Carolina.
It's Carolina.
They lost 4 games this year.
And they weren't supposed to lose any.
They lost 4 games. Lost to Georgia Tech and Virginia.
You know what? And they lost both of those. They lost both of those games by 4 points. They lost both of those. They lost to Virginia, 31-27, and they lost to Georgia. They lost to Georgia Tech. I beg your pardon. And they held a 14-point lead against Georgia Tech. 14.
Now, bear in mind, Virginia just got shellacked by Virginia Tech this past Saturday.
Oh, my God. They got killed. They got killed by Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech's not any good. And then you go past football to the quote-unquote calling card of this conference. The past so far through the first 3 weeks has been terrible. And you know, the ACC SEC challenge starts tonight.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to see what that comes out to be because there's 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
14 games. The only team not playing is Louisville. Louisville's the only team not playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm see what the score ends up being. I mean, there's some bad men's teams in the ACC. Bad.
And if any of those teams get in the tournament, they will bow out early. The way that they're playing. The way that they're playing. They will bow out early.
You know, all these ACC apologists will say, oh, we got 6 or 7 teams in. Yeah, you got 15 teams in the conference.
Exactly. You got 15 teams in your conference. Why can't 6 or 7 teams get in? And plus, it's stupidly a 68 team field.
Yeah.
And I say stupidly a 68 team field. Danny Fuller gives his Final Four picks. I want y'all to make your Final Four picks in the chat here. Let's talk about this. He says Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Oregon. Wrong, and I'll tell you why. Florida State is going to get left out.
I think that's a distinct
I think
possibility.
Florida. I think because they play for such a sucky conference, Florida State is going to get kicked out of the Final Four because of the two scenarios that we discussed earlier. One, Oregon getting even with Washington, and two, Texas kicking the hell out of Alabama earlier.
Well, let's consider this, especially since they just lost to Kentucky. Even if they blow out Louisville, it's not really going to help them.
No, it's not. Even if they boat race Louisville, it's not going to help them because they got to look over their shoulder at Oregon against Washington on Friday.
And I know that the credo is sort of don't pay attention to injuries, but I don't know how, if you're on the committee, I don't know how you can't pay attention to injuries.
Exactly. The only team that got through the injuries is the number one team in the nation, and that's Georgia.
They always say that with NCAA basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes you see teams punished for that. And I don't know why you shouldn't be punished for that.
Jay Spivey joining us here on this Tuesday. Got all kinds of stuff for you, but I'll say it again. Florida State is looking over their shoulder. Why? The Pac-12 championship, the Big 12 championship, and the SEC championship. 3 scenarios in place. If Texas wins, they're in. If Oregon kicks the hell out of Washington, which I suspect they do, they're in, and they kick Florida State out. Alabama loses their chance. Well, if they lose to Georgia on Saturday, that kicks Florida State out.
Yeah, I think if Alabama wins and Texas wins, and I already said the winner of the Pac-12 championship is going to get in, I don't think there's any Florida State's going to get left out.
So you got an extra scenario there. Should Alabama beat Georgia? And it's very possible. These two teams are evenly matched. But to be the champs, you got to unseat the champs. Now, if Georgia messes around and they're going to be fully healthy on Saturday, if Georgia and Carson Beck messes around and boat races Alabama, that kicks Alabama out and gives Texas a chance in.
Let's just think about that. Alabama's what, 7th or 8th right now? Where are they?
They're 8th. They're 8th.
If they're 8th and they beat number 1, which is a distinct possibility, how do you leave a team that just beat number 1 in the SEC championship in the SEC, mind you? And I don't care what people say. I know the Pac-12's had a phenomenal year this year overall.
Yes.
But do you really trust them against the upper echelon of the SEC? No.
Ryan McCarthy makes his final 4 picks. He goes Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Texas. I say switch Washington with Oregon. But there is no doubt that Texas has 3 shots to get in on Saturday. They have 3 shots to get in. The first shot is taking care of their own business.
Now, they can't go and choke against Oklahoma State, that's for sure.
Oh, they're going to boat race Oklahoma State. They're going to boat race Oklahoma State. And that's Saturday afternoon, is it not?
It is indeed.
Okay. What's the kick time for the Pac-12 for the Big 12 championship? I beg your pardon.
I believe it's early. I believe it's the early kick.
Let's find out.
It's
Live
Big 12 rule.
Okay, real-time research here, y'all. Real-time. Hey, we do it all. We do it all the time. Ryan McCarthy and I do it all the time. So I decided to make it a part of the show. Real-time research, and the kick time is 12:30.
Is that Eastern or Central?
That's Eastern.
Okay, so that's what
And
I was about.
Texas, and get this, Texas is favored by 11.5.
Ooh, that's a high. That's high.
And I'm not surprised as that it's noon, 12 Eastern. Thank you, Ryan. Noon Eastern. I might do 2 games that day on Saturday and 1 on Friday. I'm going to be busy. It's a noon kickoff from Arlington, and
listen, I know where I live, but and it has the potential of gut kicking. But I'm probably going to opt for watching the Big Ten rather than the ACC because they're playing simultaneously.
Right. They both. Oh, Big Ten plays at noon.
No. They're Big Ten and ACC are both night games.
Oh, okay. Big Ten. Okay.
And the SEC's at 4:00.
SEC's at 4. I'm going to be busy on Saturday. Ooh wee.
And Sunday's my birthday, so it's like an early birthday gift.
So you get an early birthday gift. Well, happy early birthday to you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And he gets an early birthday gift of conference championships all over the place for college football. Love it. Before you depart, Jay, I got this for you.
Charlotte out of timeout. Is Morning the shot. Game over.
That was the last time the Charlotte Hornets were ever relevant. And until they change ownership and get some basketball people in there, they'll never be relevant again. Thanks for joining us here on the program. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Brian. Have a good week.
Thank you, Dr. K, for that assist. One more, and then we're out of here. Back in a minute.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again. Jason
Gotta have that again.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again. Jason
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color of crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to I can beat the black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Instagram. Doggone it. I forgot to turn the volume up.
Oops.
Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Snowman Multimedia is the ID that you were looking for. Along with Victor Locke, Snowman here as we get ready to wrap things up on this Tuesday. I still have the question about the Bears. What the hell was that last night?
I have no idea.
What in the Vita blue, yellow-bellied, red-blooded hell was that?
I think everybody's asking that same question. What was that?
So how do you leave Texas out? You can't take Bama over Texas. No way. Yes, I can. And Florida State is in if they win. No way a one-loss team gets in. Oh, yeah? Watch this. Even if Florida State, okay, this will finish the show. Even if Florida State wins, and they're going to boat race Louisville, all right, let's just be all the way real with this. Josh, my buddy Josh Lopez, and then after Florida boat races Louisville, Friday night, Oregon's going to boat race Washington. I hate to say that. I hate to say that about Washington, and I could totally be wrong because Washington's been terrific.
Yeah, they've gotten significantly
Washington
better.
Huskies have been all of that this year, but I believe Oregon gets even. I believe Oregon gets even, and they're going to win over Washington. As far as Georgia and Bama goes, I hate to say this, Tide fans, but you're going to get your ass kicked.
I'm not.
To be the champs, you must unseat. Say it with me, Victor. To be the champs,
you must unseat the champs.
Woo! And Bama ain't unseating them. Matter of fact, I think Georgia runs the table to their third straight national championship.
I think so too. As long as I don't have to hear Screaming A. Smith scream "Roll Tide," I'm happy.
That ball head. Give me this button. That ball head.
Exactly.
Try again. That ball head.
Agreed.
He needs to go off the air and stay off.
I mean, look, nothing against Alabama, but I think their time is done.
I'm sorry, Nick Saban, but and here's, I'll give you two reasons. I'm doing great, Josh. I had a bit of a fever yesterday, which is why I wasn't on, but I'm on today. I'll give you two reasons, as I explained earlier with Jay. I'll give you two reasons why Alabama gets left out. One, Georgia's, give me this button. One, I believe Georgia's going to kick this shit out of them in Atlanta. And two, Texas kicked the shit out of them, and that's that. So if Texas takes care of business and shellacks Oklahoma State, which I believe they will, then that's all, folks. I might be doing 3 games on Saturday. Lord have mercy.
You're going to be a busy man.
And I got the Pac-12 championship on Friday. Zoinks. You know what the middle of those 3 games I'm going to do on Saturday.
Yeah.
SEC championship.
You're gonna get your chops in. You get your chops in this week.
I need them after so many incomplete games for baseball. I need them, man.
Right.
I'm not even gonna trip. I had an incomplete season, and I can't have that anymore. AB Media joining us from Indiana's capital city. What's up, AB? Good to have you,
AB.
But I realize in my heart and my head, I know that Georgia and Alabama is going to play a close game, probably to 4 points. But just to settle the issue, I hope Georgia kicks the ever loving shit out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Just to make my heart happy and just to shut up Screaming A. Smith, which I agree with Chris Bass. Every time I hear him, I need some alcohol put in my cup.
Yes.
Even if I'm drinking coffee, I need some. You know what? If I know I'm going to hear Screaming A, not only do I want my coffee, I want some spiked Irish cream in it.
Compliments of espresso me coffee.
Exactly. You know what I hear when I hear? Oh God!
What?
All right, I'm joking when I say this. You know what I hear when I hear Stephen A?
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
And you're really not.
Nope.
And he has his own podcast on YouTube. God help us all.
Yeah.
But
he
you
should
know,
have been doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, he should have. He should have. He should have been doing that years.
That's
years
why he doesn't. That way he doesn't have to keep bending the knee towards ESPN. He could have just done his own thing.
I say this should be your last year at ESPN. Take the money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And invest in your YouTube channel because it's blowing up.
He won't be able to do that, and the reason why is because he's stayed there for so long that he now is only known through ESPN.
Yeah, true. And I hate that because it's dirty money.
Yes. He's now basically one of the faces of ESPN besides like Pat McAfee and Malik Andrews. And Pat McAfee isn't really getting all that much shine from just being ESPN either.
And Pat McAfee built his own platform, and unfortunately, ESPN is taking that away.
Yep.
Danny Fuller, thank God you two are on the committee. Unbelievable as bad as taking TCU last year. I'm not saying FSU was a great team. I'm saying they get in. No way a one-loss team gets on over FSU. No way. No way. Oh, yeah? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Matter of fact, Danny Fuller, just to mess with you, 2 one-loss teams will get in over Florida State. Who are those 2 teams? Texas and Oregon. Unless Washington wins, and the winner of the Pac-12 championship is in. Period. Because if Washington wins, they've run the table in the Pac-12. If Oregon wins, they kick Washington out and they kick FSU out. Because Oregon will have avenged the loss to Washington, a game they should have had in Seattle. And I got to go see Husky Stadium. I got to ignite this stadium tour, and I got to go see Husky Stadium. Because I've been told by a friend of mine that it shakes when they get loud. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm. Is Florida State undefeated?
Yes.
See, I think in those situations, it's going to come down to what teams they beat. Because let's be honest, the selection is weird. The selection process is very weird.
Ain't that the truth?
Compared to other sports.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, by record, but I think it also goes by your division too.
Goes by the teams that you beat. It goes by what did playmaker say to me? It goes by your resume.
Yes.
F the resume. Texas kicked the out of Alabama, and Georgia's about to kick the out of Alabama. All right. End of story. End of story. But as I often said, to be the champs,
woo, you must unseat the champs.
And it ain't happening. And we got to go. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
they are simply not big enough.
Dream big, do bigger. Bronze Sexual Wednesday tomorrow. And I promise y'all I'll be back at the helm. We're out of here. See you tomorrow.